Alright, Trial Mob, welcome back to another TBG feature, and today we're going to be going over some 1/18th scale news. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Skellywags TV for giving me the inspiration to want to jump in on this, and of course all the members of the community that have been putting out a bunch of news on their Facebook posts and Instagram, giving us all the news to get caught up on all this 1/18th stuff that's going to be coming out this year and in the next couple of months, so stay tuned as I break everything down. Alright you guys, and straight from the Facebook page of the Acid Rain world, we have the Joytoy shield set. Now this is a dope looking piece that features a lot of the things that we like about this new faction: sword, shields, heavily armored figures, and I think it's going to be a dope piece. Now here we are going to have basically the leader of the group. Here we have him basically with his sword and dagger in hand. That helmet piece looks incredible, and originally I did think this looked a lot like the other figure itself, but there are a couple of key differences while still using the same general buck. Now, as you can tell, there are a couple of key differences: different pauldrons, different helmet, different guns, and the chest is actually different though. Like I mentioned, the buck under seems to be the same, but I do have a question about these. It is called a set, so we are going to get one of each, but in some of the photos we are shown more than one, so maybe we'll be getting a single release. Acid Rain is known for bringing out stuff later in the future as a different set, as we're going to soon be getting one of the Corsac troopers with a bike, but those came separately, so maybe we'll get something the same where we get a set of two like we see here, and maybe single releases following later, and later releases, which I think would be nice for army building. So the one thing about this Joytoy shield set that I actually want to mention is the fact that these are supposed to be peacekeepers for border disputes with basically strongholds that are held by gangbangers. And as you know, in Japan, the big gang is the Yakuza. So my question is, are we potentially going to be seeing in the future Yakuza gang members in Acid Rain world garb fighting these guys? That would be dope. And Joytoy, Acid Rain, if you're paying attention to this, I think everybody would love to see some Yakuza. Next up, we're going to have the Marine bunker set, which is basically what you see there. Two of those shield wall things, the thing that holds the bike onto the bunker set, and then something that we haven't seen before, which is basically two stands for your Acid Rain figures. Now, personally, I hope that we end up getting those individually sold, because I most definitely need at least 30 of those. Now, as you can tell, it is going to allow us to put our figures in much more dynamic poses, and to be honest, they're not the easiest to stand up, so I would definitely like these, but I hope that they end up giving them to us in single releases, because I want like 30 of these, and I don't want to have to buy this Marine bunker set over and over again just to have them. So again, Acid Rain, if you can, single releases would be choice. So we've seen before that basically on the sand bunker set, or should I say the sand trailer set, where we're able to get that piece that can hold up, motorcycles, people, and other such things. So this will be like a single modular piece that we'll be able to add to all the marine stuff that's going to be coming out. And as you know, they have a full lineup coming out. So this is something that'll be cool to add to the figure sets that will be coming out shortly. Obviously, these are going to be very modular pieces that are going to add a whole bunch of stuff to your, marine stuff. And as you can tell here, there's a lot going on. These dioramas you guys are going to be able to put together with all these pieces are going to help. But even here, you can tell that only one of them has that foot piece, and the other one doesn't have the stand, because again, there's not that many. Alright, and this next one is going to be the Marine and Kilo RV5M, and these photos were brought to you by Patrick Chan. Patrick is one of my homies on Facebook, and he always seems to post stuff before anybody else gets a hold of them, because even on the Acid Rain World Facebook page, they don't even have these photos up. So my guy, you are always on top of things, and I appreciate that. And here we are seeing one of the most badass things that we've seen in Acid Rain, and that is a legit military vehicle. We have gotten other things before on wheels, but that didn't necessarily make them a real usable, let's say, military vehicle. But this one right here is a real SUV transportation type of vehicle that we've seen before in, like, real life. Maybe Joytoy has done this kind of stuff, but for the first time, Acid Rain is stepping in and filling those shoes with a real vehicle that can be used very modularly, and I love it. This thing is wickedly cool. As you can tell, you can put a gunner on top. There's an open bed in the back. You do have the capabilities to open the doors on the side. Like, this is almost like a legit vehicle. I don't know how the sizing is actually going to be, if it's actually usable with your Acid Rain figures completely, or if can you actually sit somebody on the inside, but it's still just a badass modular vehicle that is going to be a great addition to your set. Now, just like everything else, it's going to be a set that you can add other things to. As we saw earlier, the bunker set, the walls that it comes with, you'll be able to put on the back of it to make it more of a like a troop transport or supply transport. So again, this is definitely something that's really cool, and I like that the front opens, showing somebody coming out from like the cockpit. That's a nice touch. And now, as you'll be able to tell, this thing is going to be a monster of a vehicle once you get everything put together on it, which means you will have to get at least 2 of those bunker sets, but at least you'll have 4 of those stands. And as you can tell, it can haul around other vehicles that we've gotten before. I don't own that one, the one in the back that like tank that transforms, but if you have it, at least you know that you can accessorize it with one of these, and it will be able to haul it around, which is pretty badass in my book. Now, Charlie Rodriguez gave us these photos, and these are some of the coolest things I've seen recently. If you know me, I love Titanfall, and I guess Joytoy for the longest time has been taking their inspiration from that. And so here we have the Ninth Legion Fear, 3 heavy firepower type. What a mouthful. So this is a really dope piece, and it is ginormous. And while I personally love them, I just don't have the space to be able to keep those in my house, and they're pretty pricey, but they are worth every dollar. They are pretty dope, and I'm sure you're going to like this one just as much. Now, next up, we do have the Mecha Depot maintenance area, and this is going to be a must-have for you. If you already have one of these big mechs, you're going to want this right here. This is something that is very cool for a diorama. I've been seeing a lot of this kind of stuff pop up recently, and I think that is something that brings a cool aesthetic. I mean, they have a whole bunch of figures here that don't have anything to do with each other, but I don't care. It just looks so dope, and I think you will find it worth your money if you get it and already have these mechs in hand. Next up, we have this really cool Mecha Depot staging area with enough space for at least, as you can tell, 5 figures. And this looks pretty dope. I don't think that this is supposed to directly connect to the one we just saw prior, but I think that it is something that's going to be very dope to have. I might even consider buying one of these for my reviews moving forward, because it is just big enough that it's not going to take up too much space, but it's going to allow me to still show you guys some really cool stuff. So this is definitely on my wish list. Alright, so next up we're going to have the PLA Special Forces Camouflage unit, and if you know, the PLA is one of the best series of sets that we've gotten from Joytoy. They've had multiple of these, and this is the first time we're getting this Camouflage unit, and it looks really good. I'm sure it's going to be part of a bigger set of 5 or maybe 3, but these take some of the best photos, and I'm always asking, what set is this? And somebody always says it's PLA something, so I'm sure these will be just as good when they finally come out in stores. Now, following that, we do have the Steel Bone Mecha, and damn, I gotta admit, this looks really nice. If you guys have watched Gundam Wing, there is a all-white, it's not really a Gundam, it's something else that one of the main bad guys uses, and this looks really ominously a lot like that, but it's just a really dope aesthetic overall. I still haven't been able to commit to buying one of these mechs, but damn, this one's definitely tempting me a bunch to want to get into it. But again, I think this is something that you guys are definitely going to like. Now, following that one up, we get the Steel Bone Mecha again, but this time this seems to be some kind of variant, because it doesn't have the same heavy weapons that we see on the back, but it looks very, very, very similar, almost identical to be honest, but just in a different color. And damn, I gotta say, I really like these color variants. If they end up making one in like a blue or gray, kind of like what we're getting with the Hurricane bikes, the transformable Hurricane bikes, it might be a wrap. I might just have to commit to one of these for real. Now, it only makes sense that if we're going to end up getting those Mecha Depots and all that, that we should probably end up getting some kind of maintenance team that will be working on these mechs. So we got a Mech Maintenance Team A, which comes with 6 figures and apparently 1 mystery figure. That'll be kind of cool to see. And so we have them here all in this white with sort of red detail, and then after that we get this Maintenance Team B, also same thing, we get 1 secret character, and these ones come in red instead. And I don't know, I like them both. I think I would probably end up getting the red one if I did, but I'm not big on these kinds of figures, but they're really dope nonetheless. Alright, so following that up, we have the Skeleton Forces Grim Reaper's Vengeance, and we've seen this style of figure before, so this is just a new style that looks a lot like the heavy infantry that we've already gotten in terms of that top body. Really cool looking figure overall. I love that exoskeleton that they're using right now with the wings on the back, or should I say the little jetpack drone thing, and I think it's a cool looking figure. I don't think we've gotten that knife before or that specific cannon, so it is going to be something that is cool to see and to have. This figure with that gun looks incredible. I don't actually like the helmet that these Grim Reaper ones come with. I don't like the big skull helmeted in any color. I don't think it's a great look. I think they could have used a different look overall. But unhelmeted and just all black with that big rifle, ooh, that is a good piece. I might just have to cave in and purchase. Now this one right here seems to be more of one of those lighter units, so no exoskeleton and smaller body armor up top, but it still has the exact same kind of winged drone on the back, so I think that aesthetically is a lot more of a pleasing look than some of the stuff we've gotten before for the light infantry. So this might be something that, again, I might want to look into as well. And at the very end here, we do have basically from the same crew, but this one is a white skull face, and the white skull face I actually seem to like a little bit more, but overall the aesthetic with these blacks and grays looks really cool. And he's got this hatchet. I'm not quite sure, but this is the older exoskeleton that we see on him, and I'm not a big fan of the older exoskeleton. It's kind of clunky. We've seen it on the Civet Company from Acid Rain and some other ones, but this might be a pass for me. I don't know. Though I will admit that all of them together in this photo do look pretty good, so that might sway me in the right direction, but you know, maybe it's something that you'll want, and I think it's really cool overall. It's got a really clean aesthetic, and there's not many other things on the market that look like this, and this might just be right up your alley. Now, these last few photos were brought to you by Damon Prisk. He is a great host for one of our Facebook pages, and he blessed us with a few of these photos that we're seeing right here, which are a more broken down version of what each figure comes with: the shields, the guns, the helmet, the hands, the two weapons, the hatchet and the knife. So pretty cool look overall. I do like the way, again, the white skull looks like. I just don't like that exoskeleton armor. And then on the, I guess you could say, the light flying infantry, I love the weapon, I love the jetpack. The body's actually really cool in that black armor. I'm not a big fan of that style helmet, I'm not gonna lie, but I do think it is an overall cool looking figure. Probably unhelmeted, it's probably not a problem. It's probably how I'm gonna end up rocking mine. And then at the very end here, this is the money maker. If they end up making this one as a single carded release, which might be the case, I don't have a problem buying this one. It's got the exoskeleton that I like. The red colors are cool. That head looks really nice. I will probably put down the helmet somewhere else. And that rifle really got me. Yeah, so does the big cannon, but that rifle is really where my heart's at. Alright, if you guys did like what you heard and saw, please give me a like, a comment, subscribe. Let me know what I could do to make this a bit more digestible for you. I know it was a lot of news, but I will be bringing you guys out more content as more stuff rolls out, and hopefully over the next few months I'll have more reviews and more news. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and try mob. I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.